Righto, how you all cruising? My name's Anthony and welcome to my little humble abode that I've got at the moment. Today I thought I'd give you a bit of a gander and a bit of a brief on how I maintain my diamond plates, or plate I should say, and my water stones. So this is something that you would do progressively throughout the time that you've got the stones in your care. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, but Anthony, I don't have 3 stones. You're only going to be like, I've got 4 or 6. Or you're going to say, I've got a combination stone. So one side of the stone is coarse and the other side is quite fine. Doesn't matter. When I first started, that's exactly what I had. I had a combination stone that I picked up from the Ballarat market, actually. Picked it up for 30 bucks and I haggled the guy too. It's only like 14, long time ago. But anyway, no more reminiscing. So first up, let's start with the diamond plate. Diamond plate's probably one of the most easiest things to maintain, and it's probably going to be your foundation block into maintaining your other grits that you've got. We can get into how I did this when I was a kid, but now with technology and you learn things as you go, I actually use this to maintain my other 2 stones. So it's highly important for me to make sure I keep this as pristine as I possibly can. Now, what's not recommended when you get grime and grit and crap all over it, I would not recommend to use any thinners products. So whether it's fuel, gun cleaner, and I mean like your spray gun cleaner, WD-40, like you just want to clean this with some running water preferably, but a little brush and some soapy water, give it a clean, give it a rinse. Don't try and dry it, let it just dry naturally, and just let it sit up like this. The main reason why I say don't dry this is you'll find out if you do try, you'll rub something on it and you're going to end up with little bits of towel or tissue or crap. It's just got these little fine fibers. You're going to rub your hand over it and then you're going to find out when you run your chisel or your plane blade or another tool that you want to keep sharp over it, you're going to find out real quick. So this one here, you can see it's not too bad, and I suppose a big part of the secret why for me it's not too bad is I use soapy water. So I'm already halfway there in keeping it clean. But in saying that, you just give it a rub. Obviously don't rub it too much because you'll wear through the skin on your fingers. And all I would do is run that under some water, which I will do in a minute. And that's done. Running water. Happy days. Moving forward onto how you treat this stone. Well, I should say how I treat this stone and how I treat this stone, identical. There's no difference. So the likes of whether it's an oil-based stone or you're working with the water like I am, and I prefer to use water only because oil, back in the day, you'd use an oil stone and you always get residue on your furniture, where water, not that you're not going to get residue and fingerprints, it's not going to be that much of an impact, especially when you come to polishing or finishing, I should say. So these two are going to be identical. And things that I'm going to let you in on that I check. I used to check this all the time when I was a lot younger. You know, you'd see, I know it's going to be really hard for you to see, this is really flat. It's actually touching here and here. And I reckon it's like, it's a whisker out. Like just half a whisker. I reckon I could see some daylight under there, but when I come this way, it's nice and flat. You know, an engineer's square or a rule, engineer's rule is really good because it's nice and flat. It's a Martinez speed square, so I'm going to trust that it's pretty flat. Now, to clean this, I would basically just do the same thing like I would with my diamond plate. I would give it a spray with some soapy water, that's it. And I would hit this with either my finger or even just a little bit of a brush, just to remove any of your grimy sections. And normally if you don't maintain this, what you'll find, if I get nice and close, like you can see where the chisel's been rubbing on there, but what you'll find is you'll end up with a real toasty bit right in the center of this. And that's going to give you a good wear indication that your stone is suddenly not flat. Now, for this purpose and for the likes of the other stone, I'm going to pull you in a bit closer and show you how I get this nice and flat. So let's get you in. Okay, so we're just going to imagine that this section here is a little bit hollowed out. I mean, I keep my gear maintained religiously, but this is all I do. I just give her a little bit of a, bit of a rub. Same with this. And this is the other thing with this that I didn't mention before, is you always want to keep this lubricated. If you don't have even just water on this, it's actually going to wear out your the diamond plate itself a lot quicker, because the resin or the glues that is embedded in there keeping the diamonds on your plate is going to burn off, which is going to leave you with patches. So always make sure this is lubricated, and even this, like I'd lubricate both, and all you've got to do is back and forth, and you want to use the whole plate. All right, so what I mean by that is you don't want to just be focusing like this or going on an angle like this. You want to just come nice and straight with your stone and use the whole plate. And you pretty much just want to keep on going until you can see that there's, you're either going back to natural stone, or that section in the middle has just worn all the way back down and all your color's gone. So all that gray, which is your chisel material, your little fibers that sort of gunk up the stone a little, and that's pretty much it. So same thing applies with this one for me. And you'll see the only difference with this one to the other one is if I do this one long enough, I'll actually get a little bit of a slurry. Oh, I think that's nice and flat. I'm starting to get some suction going on. Yeah, that's nice and flat. And I can't get that off now. All right. And that's pretty much it for that. Like, that keeps this nice and flat. I know next time I grab my chisel and I hit this, I'm not distorting any of the metal that I've worked so hard to keep flat and true on my tools. And it's just going to make life so much easier as you progress down the line when you are cutting some dovetails or a mortise and tenon or a bridle joint, or if you're going to get a little bit more fancy into your traditional Japanese joints, like they've got more intricate joints obviously, and it just makes your life so much easier. When I was a kid, the only way that we had to sort this out and make our stones, or our sharpening stones, nice and flat, was you had to actually get down on your hands and knees, find a bit of concrete and rub the crap out of that stone onto that bit of concrete. And the good thing is, because you've got a lot of concrete, so it doesn't matter that you start sort of hollowing out sections, because most of the time your stone's harder than the concrete that's on the ground. Moving on to a diamond plate that's coarse, so it's got to be harder than your finishing stones, and it just breezes it off and gets it nice and clean. Now the other side of it that you can do, which I haven't, but what you can do if you don't have the coin to set yourself up with a diamond plate to do this, is a flat piece of steel and some sandpaper. It's not going to work as well because you're probably going to go through more sandpaper than what you will diamond plates. But when you're talking a couple of bucks until you're in that position to set yourself up, I don't see the downfall or the issue with it. The other thing you can do, which is probably really a good thing to invest in, I got this. It's a laminated piece of glass. It is relatively flat, and it's better to have something to keep your gear flat than not. It's a bit of glass, and you can go off and you can get yourself various wet and dry pieces of paper. This one here is a 180, so it's nice and coarse. Like I mentioned in my previous video, which if you haven't seen that one, probably highly recommend watching it. This one here, that's a 180 grit. You can get I think 180 might be the finest that we can get here, or the coarsest that we can get here wet and dry in Australia. I might be absolutely wrong, but this is what I had available and this is what I've grabbed, and there's a good handful there, probably maybe 10-15 bucks worth of paper, and that being wet and dry, it's going to last a lot longer than your normal dry paper, and it's going to achieve the exact same thing as this. Because in this industry, obviously you need to do things gradual and slowly, and it's okay if you don't have the necessary means to be in this position and have a diamond plate along with your really good quality stones. I've been doing this for a long time, and I was a little nerd when I was a lot younger, and I'm still a little bit of a nerd when it comes down to woodworking and construction tools, actually all of it. As usual, hopefully find out in the future. So look, I really hope this has been helpful for a few of you, if not just one, and it would help me out and help this channel grow if you would consider subscribing and obviously hitting that like button. Lets the algorithm know, no, you know what, stuff the algorithm, like it because you like it, and please do consider subscribing if you want to see what I get up to, and on showing you next. So you all be good, and tell you what, be sure I'll catch you in the next one.